Hello, Auburn Alliance Church. Welcome to another 5 at 5 with PJ and Pastor Mark. We're really glad that you have joined us for another insider pastor discussion. There's a few things that Pastor Mark and I have been talking about lately, and we just really want to have an opportunity to talk with you about it today. There's a few news stories that have hit the headlines, and as they hit the headlines, our conversations and conversations with others, we're really seeing that there's something going on that is behind the scenes of the things that we're seeing happening in front of us today. So we want to have a little bit of a conversation with you about that and just kind of maybe get some of your thoughts on days to come about these things too. But Pastor Mark, you've been kind of upset about how things are not being done in a truthful way right now. Well, what are the things that are really coming to your heart right now?
Well, one of the things, but there are many of things that I'm noticing within what's going on right now within America in particular. I think it has fingers that are going out into the world itself. Is just there's this unsettledness. There's a disturbedness. People are on the edge. There's their height. The height of anger it's just under the surface. It takes something little and it snap. Then all of a sudden they trip into anger, yelling, those kinds of things. I mean, they talk about. I've heard this said that drinking has gone up and those kinds of things, all for the sake of coping.
Yeah.
And what I've as I look from my perspective of where I see what's going on both in the news and what I see is happening around the world is there's just a major level of unsettledness. That level of unsettledness is creating a watershed within people's lives, thinking, and behavior.
Yeah.
And that watershed is rather disturbing to me. All right. The issues of people and culture are sort of clashing. And as I look at that, it's disturbing. It really is disturbing. And then you talk to people and there's a lot of lack of hope that is out there. Like, where's this thing going to end? I mean, it's beyond just COVID. It's about some of the tensions, the racial tensions that are going on, and gender issues, and behavior issues, and I'll link into this sin issues, sin behavior issues. And where does this all end? Particularly if you're a follower of Jesus Christ and you're looking at all this, and of course, I know Christians that their immediate default is end times. Jesus is coming. I'm going to go out and I'm going to jump in the front yard because I want to do rapture practice. So
yeah, go to Cedar Point. That's a great place for rapture practice.
Right. Okay. But my thoughts is that it's very important to remember that the culture in which Jesus lived in and existed in was not a peaceful culture. Yes, Pax Romana was in place. And I know I've shared some of this already before, but I want us to come back to this, that Jesus's culture in which he existed in was not a nice culture. It was a volatile culture. There were lots of conflict. There were ethnic issues. There were gender-related issues. There were behavioral issues. There were economic issues. All of those things were taking place even in Jesus' day, and yet the beauty of Christianity is that it thrived. It not only birthed, but it flourished in that environment because it became a voice into the world of hope, of truth, and of life. And that's really what I want us to talk. I guess I want to talk about is, and what I see, and now going back to your question, what I see is an attack on truth.
Yeah.
I really believe that there's an underlying thread that actually is probably a steel cable that is really, this whole thing is really about truth. That, society, there's philosophies and ideologies that are out there that says there is no such thing as absolute truth. And I want to challenge that, because I do believe there is such thing as absolute truth.
Me too.
And in so doing, that is where our hope is in. Because if Jesus stands and says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, that is an absolute statement, not based upon subjectivity. That's not a relativistic statement. That is a factual statement, not based upon his emotion. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And therein, I find incredible hope and peace in that.
Oh, yeah.
And so, and with a society that I feel like has got frayed ends all over the place, man, this is the time that the church holds fast to the truth.
And I know how much you hate someone who is not being truthful with you.
Yes.
And that just, I hate that too. I want to make decisions based on truth. I don't like when people are lying to me. I make a decision turns out to be a bad decision, and I look foolish because I didn't know what the truth was, right? But I feel right now in our culture that there are people who are enjoying lying to us. They are speaking their narrative. They are stepping into our fears and leveraging our fears against us. Yep. To bring us down a path that we don't want to go down. And we had no idea that we were going to go there. It's this huge shell game that's going to take place. It's a bait and switch that's going to happen. I mean, this week, as we saw that the people that are fighting for Black Lives Matter all of a sudden are burning Bibles. And I could just picture a whole bunch of people that were there for Black Lives Matter kinds of things. And all right, now we're going to burn Bibles. And people are going to be like, whoa, wait a minute. We're here because we believe in Jesus, and we believe in social justice. We believe in racial equality. We believe that everybody should be treated equal. And we're doing that because we love Jesus, and we want everybody to know that love of Jesus. And I don't want anything to do with burning Bibles. Right. And all of a sudden you find out the true motive there didn't have to do with racial equality. It had to do with bringing my agenda to the table, and like using a mob mentality to move everybody forward and then steer them in another direction they had no idea that they were going.
Right.
And there's a whole bunch of people who wake up in the morning and go, well, wait a minute, I don't want to be associated with that. I don't want to be part of that. And they're being fooled. They're being misled. And many people are going down that path and are going to find out that, no, this isn't what we were supposed to be doing, or things that we're supposed to be believing.
Right.
And that has to do with your truth. We start eroding the truth. What's the big deal with burning Bibles? Well, that's a huge statement that says we hate the truth that's in there. We hate the God of the Bible. We hate Jesus Christ because of what he claims.
Right.
You don't burn Bibles unless you have a deep hatred for those kinds of things, and you're trying to make a statement to cause other people to now hate those same things too.
Yeah, I don't understand how burning of Bibles is actually productive for maybe that particular organization's agenda of what they want to accomplish, unless there's another deeper issue. To me, that's only one example. I think there are many other examples of where truth is under attack. And, we're not naive. We're not being blind when we say that there is such a thing as absolute truth. That truth stands alone. I was sharing this with you. I've shared this with other people. That truth stands alone. It neither needs to be proven nor disproven, because truth is truth. And I know that's a very strange statement to make, that truth doesn't need to be proven, because we feel like it needs to be proven. But truth as truth doesn't need to be proven, because it is what it is. I don't have to prove gravity. I just know that it is. Gravity does exist. I can't see it, but I can feel it. It keeps me on the earth. you know what? It's what pulls me down when I fell out of the tree, and in so doing, it's proved that it exists as a true statement that gravity exists, but I don't have to prove it. I just know that it does exist. And
Yeah.
therein, the same is true about the person of Jesus. Hold on to him, stick close to him, abide in him, walk with him, and that's where you find hope. That's where you find peace. And that's where I truly believe racial reconciliation takes place. That's where I believe the gender confusion that is going on within our culture and in our society today, that's where it's found out. I know that there are some who would disagree with that statement, but I believe with all of my heart that walking close with Jesus gives clarity to the gender issue. And here's the other big one, is the behavior issue. Walking close with Jesus addresses the issue of behavior, and not so much a freedom to do whatever I want to do, but a freedom to be in Christ, to follow and do exactly as he would do. And yet, see, to me, the issue isn't about people wanting to just do what they want. The issue is about truth linked with freedom.
Yeah.
And freedom not to be free to do whatever I want, whatever comes to my mind, but to be free to walk with the truth, and that being the person of Jesus. And I just find great comfort and satisfaction in that reality.